Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, January 10th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarification points. Number one, the price you see over here will be moving around and changing, and the candlestick you see right there will be changing and moving. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. Stock number one here, BBBY, which is in the headlines with all the bankruptcy talk and all that sort of stuff, but the volume remains very, very large and nice bounce today. There's no doubt about it when you stop to think that the price was down there when it closed the week on Friday, and now it's up here. That is a good, solid move, but that does bring about the more than valid question. Yeah, but is there any sort of true power? Is there any sort of genuine strength behind this move? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. And in my mind, it's all about that level right there at $1.50. Why is $1.50 so important? Because truly strong moves make progress. Nothing can go straight up, but there is going to need to be some sort of sign of progress. So think about this. If the price comes down here and then just breaks down through 150, what would you have at that point? You would have quite literally price having gone right back to where it was. Not exactly a sign of genuine power. Where on the flip side of things, again, because nothing can go straight up, maybe the price does come down here, but difference being behaves like that and then starts to work its way back upwards. Now, all of a sudden, what do you have? Well, you have a set of lows right here. You have lows down here. And if you envision each of those as stair-steps, well, now you have stair-steps making progress in the upwards direction, which, again, is what it's all about. So is this a truly strong move? Is this a genuinely healthy move? Let's see if the price can show progress. Again, how is progress being defined? Staying above $1.50. Next, MULN, which in the big picture, so let me squeeze this down here. Overall trend is still up. Now, I realize there's a little bit of perspective, meaning if you're a day trader and you bought right there, or maybe you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 12 minutes, from that perspective, yeah, the chart looks pretty bad. But from the bigger picture point of view, even with the bigger pullback here, the overall trend is still up because it goes back to showing progress and putting in those higher lows. So even if the price does come back down to that 35-cent area. Not saying it will, but if it doesn't stay above it, well, then where are previous lows? Well, you have previous lows there, you have previous lows there, you have previous lows here. And again, going back to the stair-step analogy, how the stair-steps, well, the stair-steps are still very clearly progressing in the upwards direction. And again, that's even with the price pulling back further to that 35-cent mark. Again, to reiterate, I understand if you're a day trader that bought right there, then yeah, you don't care about these stair-steps. But that's why I'm trying to distinguish that I am making these comments based more so on the big picture point of view. But the chart is also now reaching the point where it's okay, the price is pulled back enough, right? As I mentioned, nothing can go straight up, but there does also reach a point where it's okay, yeah, big enough pullback. And in my opinion, this is where the chart is finally starting to reach that general area where the price is pulled back enough. And if this is going to remain a good, healthy uptrend, then you're going to need to start to see some sort of curling back upwards, not necessarily on Tuesday, but sooner than later. Next, APGN, and we have ourselves a good, solid pattern here. So let me be very clear. I'm not trying to imply that this is some sort of great discovery on my part or special skill. I assure you a lot of people have drawn in these areas here, both right there as the support, or excuse me, as the resistance, and then right here as the supports. Let me change that to green to represent more so a bullish dynamic, and then maybe make this all easier to see. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big move up right here. And to make it more for you golfers, let's put a golf hole down here. So this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it plausible? Is it valid to think, even if you want to just call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, that if the price turns around, comes back up here and gets a break to the top part of that pattern, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That's not a guarantee, but that's certainly a plausible outcome that makes sense. So if you like to play stocks down below $5, if you like bull pennant patterns, here you go. Next, MARA, another good solid move here. The trend is certainly starting to turn around as if you're bottomed out down there around 315. Now all the way up here, crossing up over $5 today. Granted, it did pull back. So that's more of the bigger picture point of view. But to zoom back in here and focus on more so the immediate price action, in my mind, very clear level of resistance now up there at essentially $5.20. You can see the price got up there several times, and momentum just was never able to really sustain itself. So keep an eye on that level moving forward. If this thing does continue to pull back, then the level of support that I find pretty interesting is this former breakout point right there via that trend line. So when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, they tend to act as support. which puts this pullback area right down here around, we'll call it $4.50, give or take a little bit. So keep an eye on that. So it's really just a matter of, what your strategy is. If you like to play breakouts, and you can consider that. If you like to play pullbacks, you can consider that. But again, we're all different. So maybe you are looking at a different level, which I totally respect, and you'd want to factor that level into your trade plan. But overall, in my opinion, at least, these are going to be the main levels to consider. Next one, AMC, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one because nothing really happened, but stuff did happen. So what do I mean by that? Well, for those of you that have watched past videos, you know that I've been talking about this sideways channel pattern, top of the channel being right there, resistance $4, bottom of the channel being right there, support 380. And you can see, so this is what actually did happen. It's just more confirmation that the channel exists and is getting that much stronger. But you can see earlier on, bottom of the channel was tested and held strong. And then a couple times throughout the day, top of the channel was also tested and held strong. So nothing has really changed. Like I said, it's still a sideways channel pattern. You still have those key levels. But as far as the general point of view, yeah, it's still stuck between these channels. So yes, I understand that from a daily standpoint. What are you talking about? Nothing happened. The price was down here and went all the way up there, came down. Yes, I get it. Today in and of itself, yeah, price back and forth. But taking a step back and looking at a bigger picture point of view, the channel pattern is still fully intact. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader, then I want you to get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can click on, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen, then certainly get signed up for the free live training. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and the first big dynamic that happened today was it got up above this 114.50-ish mark, which just prompts the first key update based on that rule and charting. When levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So if there is any sort of bigger pullback, then 114.50 becomes a very, very interesting level of support. As more of a near-term level of support, the level that stands out to me would be right here at that level, which sits at, let's call it 118.50. So like I said, near term, 118.50 going to be a key level. But if that level can't quite hold up, then right down there at 114.50 would be the next key level to watch. As far as areas of resistance, keep an eye on that downward sloping pink line, which on my chart denotes the very well-known, the very famous 200 period moving average, currently valid at, we'll just call it 125. So keep an eye on that. But with the later day pullback here, it's looking like these levels of support have a much higher chance of potentially getting tested. So we'll see what Tuesday has to offer. Next one, PLTR, and I like this one. I guess this isn't the only reason, but a big reason is just such a well-defined and respected area of resistance right there at 665. So you can see right there, rejected the price. Right up there, generally speaking, momentum could not sustain itself, disappeared, down the price went. And that happened once again here. Could not sustain itself, and then just right there, multiple times, flat-out rejection before finally going back down. So you got to think that all sorts of people around the world have noticed this 665 mark. Again, does not mean that for sure guaranteed if the price comes up here and breaks through it, it'll produce additional buying pressure. No, there are no guarantees. But is that plausible? Is that reasonable to assume that something like that could follow? Absolutely. So keep a close eye on 665 from a resistance standpoint and potential breakout area. If this pullback does continue, then the key area of support to keep an eye on for more of you pullback players out there going to be right around that $6.40 mark. But yeah, 665, certainly a very intriguing level. Next one, NIO, and we have ourselves another pretty well-defined pattern here that you got to think a lot of people are watching. So again, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. These sorts of patterns, when a lot of people are watching, wondering the same things, can produce some good, solid dynamics. So top of this pattern right up here around $11.10. Bottom of the channel, right around there, give or take. Let me change that to green to represent the support, or you could really just use those moving averages as your little trend line right there if you wanted to get a little bit more creative. But at the core, what we have, resistance, support, big move there. Golf hole down here, another bull pennant pattern. So I know we had bull pennants on some lower price stocks, but if you prefer to stay up above the $10 mark and you like bull pennants, then I definitely keep an eye on NIO. Next one, SOXL, which is an ETF that follows the semiconductor sector. So if the semiconductor sector as a whole has a good day, this one has a good day. It is leveraged, so it just moves that much quicker, which makes it very popular out there amongst day traders and so on. Did this one on Friday, so the first updates that need to be done, I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of that. And then first update, again, as you've heard me say, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And this level here is seemingly going to be tested again at 11.25. I say again because you can see opening 30 minutes, price pulled back here, and a classic example of that resistance then acting as support as the price went upwards. And with the last 30 minutes here on this pullback, seems reasonable that this 11.25 mark could be tested, which brings up the first key question: will that level hold or not? If it doesn't, then I'd keep an eye on that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, which, given its name as a moving average, will continue to move higher and higher, but as of right now, valued at 1060. And then if the price does all of a sudden start to turn itself around, key area of resistance to keep an eye on is going to be this trend line right there. And then from a bigger picture point of view, we have ourselves another pattern again. So resistance, support, big move there. Have ourselves another bull pennant pattern here on SOXL. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that follows the NASDAQ. So if the NASDAQ market as a whole goes up, this one will also go up. And it just allows you access at a much lower price point, hence making it a very popular, most popular ETF out there. And right here, we have some very, very interesting dynamics because, the market started off very strong on the day with a huge move up and then spent the afternoon just pulling back, and is now pulled back to this former breakout area, which you now know, and you know what I'm going to say next. Well, this area of resistance, you would want to act as support. And so far, so good. The price is literally sitting right at that level, actually 2 cents above it because there was the close at 1802. So yes, the market now is officially closed, but 1802 was the close, and that key level is at $18 mark. So it's hanging on by a thread of 2 cents. If the price does continue on down, then the next key level that's even more important is going to be that secondary green line right there, as I've talked about in past videos, at 1750. And the reason why that one is so important is, like BBBY, think about making progress. Well, if the price were to come down here and then continue on down, all of a sudden the price is back inside of this sideways channel that was just broken out of on Friday. So that's where, in my mind, 1750, very, very important level. And then in terms of levels of resistance, like SOXL, we have that line right there. So I'm going to, make this very quick though, because we have ourselves another bull pennant, resistance, support, big move there, golf hole down here. So yeah, today's pullback was rough, but does that destroy the entire chart? Absolutely not. There is still the opportunity to get the bounce back upwards. But again, if the price continues to drift downwards and breaks through 1750, that's going to really change the landscape of the chart. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can and should be used to build consistency, then get signed up for the class. It'll be soon, Thursday, January 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10, if you enjoy these, please do 2 things for me as they help out the channel and they communicate to me that you enjoy. As long as I know people are enjoying, I'll continue to do these videos. But hit that like button and leave a comment. It can be saying hi. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But those 2 things, like I said, really help out the channel and communicate to me that you are enjoying. So get signed up for that free training. Hit that like button. Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.